So, welcome to the Digital Maddie Show with your host and host Miithyl, a show made exclusively for solopreneurs, artists, and coaches who wish to build their business online. With 15 plus years of business experience, I cover topics on personal branding, content creation, and digital marketing on this show and invite many experts who share the same passion like mine. Today we have an amazing guest on our show. Let me just introduce him. His name is Per. So, for Per, the pricing has always been an interest area. As a serial entrepreneur running companies in Europe and US, he did pricing experiences. Some of these worked spectacularly well, some did not work at all. As a result, Per founded his company out of his frustration that what business schools teach about pricing is too abstract and too academic for a business executive to act on. Likewise with books about he wrote about about pricing. So consequently he set out to make pricing practicals and actionables, and this stems from the deep understanding of how customers make their purchase decisions. Since then he has been at the forefront as the thought leader in everything related to pricing, and he is a sought out speaker for a variety of conferences and business circuits. And it's an honor to have him here in the show, the Digital Maddie Show. So let's bring him onto the platform.
All
So hello,
right.
Per.
Hey, Miithyl. Thank you very much for having me on the show, and I'm looking forward to this conversation.
Awesome. So, Per, first of all, thank you so much for taking your valuable time and giving your valuable details. And I'm super excited for today because pricing is one crucial thing. Either businesses and entrepreneurs, either they overprice it or they underprice it in most of the case, and they do not actually understand the true value of the pricing. And with you being the genius behind pricing, I think we will get some 10 cents about that too. So, can you
Yeah,
just share your backstory with us?
yeah. You mentioned a little bit about it, but um, I um, I ran a couple of companies, one out of Zurich in Switzerland and one out of London in the UK. And then in the mid '90s, I moved here to Los Angeles, where I'm based, and to establish a division of a fairly large public company and run that. And since then, I had another 4 CEO positions. So it's been a journey where it's been really really frightening sometimes, but also very very exciting because I'm always looking for challenges and so forth. So and like you said, in these various companies, we did experiments with pricing. Some were very successful, meaning that next quarter revenues are up with 25%, and others were complete duds. And we couldn't, from what business schools teach you, we couldn't understand why some of those experiments worked and others didn't. 15 years ago, I said to myself, what kind of information would I have needed as an entrepreneur in these various companies to understand how to use pricing as a profit lever and a business lever, business result lever in all these, and what would I have needed to make every pricing experiment a success? And like I said, 15 years ago, I decided I was too old and too opinionated to be a hired gun. So I set up my own shop, and I developed a process that really works every time. And pricing is like you said, pricing is so important because if you think about it, and this has been proven actually for the average company, that I like to do something that I call the 1% challenge. And the 1% challenge consists of something very, very simple. If you look at it, every company generates a profit from only 3 variables. It's the cost of whatever you're selling, including if you're selling services, because they have costs involved too. It's the sales volume of what you're selling, and it's the price of what you're selling. And the thought experience of 1% is that if you increase your sales volume, and this is for an average company, if you increase your sales volume, your profitability goes up with 3.5%. If you if you decrease your cost with 1%, your profitability for the average company goes up 5.5%. But if you can increase your price with 1% or decrease your discounting with 1%, profitability goes up with 11.3% for the average company. So that means that pricing has the highest leverage on profitability. And profits are so important because it is profits that drives every company. I mean, even if you, eventually, if you have investors and if you're not turning into profit, they will eventually stop supporting you. You know, so profits are crucial, and it's profit that can lead you to more product development, to more marketing, to hire better people, and all that good stuff.
Absolutely, Per. So yes, pricing is crucial, and I didn't knew about this, analysis that you have done. That 1% challenge. This is really deep, and if uh, one key takeaway, if I have to take today, I think I just got it right now. This is super. So
Yeah, and think about the particular challenge piece here is that, have you ever failed to change anything a single percent?
absolutely not.
Of course not. No.
True. But that one person can have a ripple effect and it can do much better. And this is
Yeah.
actually deep. Thank you.
So,
So, but how did you get into this unusual field of pricing?
well, it was from my experience that then I decided that there must be a better way, and at the time, 15 years ago, I reached out to a bunch of other CEOs that I know at the time, and I said, is this something that is of value? And they all said yes. so consequently, I decided to develop that process, and the process, if I may very quickly mention, is based on willingness to pay research from which is possible to accurately predict sales volume and revenue at different prices. And obviously, if you can predict sales volume and revenue prices, you can compare with your current prices, and you can see, do I have to change this to sell more? Do I have to if I change it this way, do I make more money? Right? So
Absolutely.
you make data-driven pricing decisions.
True. I'm like that is actually crucial. Data driven will actually get you more things. And if I'm not wrong, Per, this is what big e-commerce companies like Amazon and all of them are doing that, right? Based on the data, they are able to analyze the pricing and they decide what is the next pricing hike that they should do.
Well, actually not. What the big e-commerce companies do is that they do a lot of testing, and testing works to some extent, but it doesn't work in transforming a company. And this is because um, if you have if you test the price, you test the price, sort of pricing in a vacuum, because it could be that if you have different marketing messages, if you market in different channels, that may support higher prices than your current marketing messages and channels. If the product features and functions you support in your current sales communication support one price, other features and functions and benefit may support higher prices. So if you're going to test, say, 12 different um, 12 different price points, half a dozen different product or service features and benefits, 3 different marketing channels, 6 different marketing messages, um, 3 different sales channels, 3 different sales methodologies, then a stratification of pricing in 6 different ways. and you end up with 15,000 combinations. You know
Wow.
what the Amazons of the world do is that it takes the status quo, the messages you use, the product features that you push and so forth, and they change the price. And obviously that means that you can, and Amazon, they can change prices up to 8 times a day. um, and that means that for the status quo you can figure out the right price, but it 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 does take time, and it can confuse customers. If you have returning customers, for example, and they see a different price, you may alienate them and they go somewhere else. So there's sort of a double-edged sword doing testing, but and we've seen that on many occasions, that a company goes out with even a name of a product that generates 25% lower sales volume than a better name, right?
Wow.
So
True. So, as per you, what are the top pricing mistakes that you have seen and to avoid?
yeah, there's of the top three ones, is the first is to try to look at a competitor and set the same price as a competitor. And that is often the first step into the commoditization death spiral, and that is a place you don't want to be, because if you're being perceived as a commodity by your customers, the lowest price win, and it becomes a race to the bottom. And in a race to the bottom, there's no winners, there's no profits to be had, and and looking at a price from a competitor, how did that competitor set the price? Guessing, maybe, right? So, um, so companies need to differentiate themselves in ways that are meaningful to the clients. That's how you gain pricing power. Now, um, and a commodity doesn't have that. Now, the next common mistake is to use the cost as a basis for prices. And obviously, if you want to be profitable, you want to sell above cost. That's pretty basic, But the cost that you have is irrelevant for your clients, and it's the benefits they buy, not your cost. And there are many mistakes in doing cost as a base for prices. First off, different industries typically have different rules of thumb for what that added margin should be. In sort of old school manufacturing industries, it's often 35%. So you take your cost that you try to calculate as accurate as you can, and then you add 35%. If you in other industries, it's 50%. Some companies like retail often doubles the cost. So if their cost is $10, they sell it at 20. In some other industries, you take cost times 5 or cost times 10 and so forth. And none of this have any relation to the value that the customer is perceiving. And the third big mistake is simply to guess, gut feel, guess, whatever you want to call it. Just a story here. I spoke to the CEO of a startup company. They do contract management software. It's a SaaS company, and he said, I decided that we're going to have a price of $165 per user per month. And then he continued, but I don't know if that's the right price. Maybe it should have been 99. Maybe it should have been 250, right? But 165 just felt good. I can guarantee that this company is leaving oodles of money on the table. So guessing, gut feel. Sometimes people say they do market price, but how do they know what the market is paying? They don't. Even if you can get your price list of a competitor, you don't know what deals they're making. Even if they have prices on their website, you don't know what specials they have. Maybe they have geo-targeting, so if you're in different areas, you get different prices. So market price is another euphemism for guesswork. So those are the top three mistakes, and the way to avoid them is simply to price based on a measure of what people are willing to pay.
Wow, this is actually deep, and it's very crucial. So it's not on the gut feeling, but it has to go with a lot of stats and with a lot of analysis and with data. With a lot of
Yeah.
knowledge, the pricing has to be filled in.
Yeah, that's I mean that's where you get transformation of companies.
True.
And what I'm saying with transformation, I know this show is for small companies and solopreneurs and stuff like that. And the way I recommend you know startups and small companies to do pricing is to go out and talk to 25 potential buyers. These should not be current customers. It should not be current prospects. And the way to do this is simply to go and ask these 25 people. Now, if you can't find 25 people, then you have bigger problems than pricing, right? But if you can get these 25 people, ask them two questions. And the first question is, now when I have described our product or service and the benefits that it gives you, what would the price be that you think is so cheap that you don't believe in our promise? That you don't believe that we can deliver the quality and the benefit that we just mentioned, right? And then you continue with the next question, which is, now when you know our product or service, what is the price that is simply too high, no matter how good it is, no matter how much benefit it's going to give you? What is the price that's just way out of your budget? And when you have those two price points, you average these two replies, and and you have then you have a range of where your price should be. It should not be cheaper than the average of the cheaper, and it should not be more expensive than the average of the expensive. Now you should probably set your price towards the more expensive price, and because that's where your profitability is going to be the highest. But it's a way of understanding the range of prices, and you can never ever ask somebody how much are you willing to pay,
True.
right?
True.
But you
Totally
can
agree.
you can yeah, because then they lie. But you can say what is a price that is too low, what is a price that is too high.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No doubt about it. So, Per, with this, we come to the end of the first, session of the
Yep,
interview, and we go to the second phase. And second phase is about rapid fire round, where I'm going to ask you 5 questions, and whatever the first thing comes in your mind, you just have to share that.
sure.
So, shall we begin?
Yes.
Okay. So let me just zoom it and make it a bit intense. So the very first question is, who do you admire the most?
Oh, Steve Jobs.
Lovely. Same here. So, what is the one thing you would like to put on your bucket list?
Oh, one thing I would like to put on my bucket list. Um, More travel.
More travels. Lovely. Can you describe yourself in 3 words?
Dedicated, uh, intelligent, and passionate.
DIP. Lovely. Uh, since you are in LA, so let's go to Hollywood. So, if a movie was supposed to be made on your character, who would play your role?
Well, I have almost no insight into the entertainment industry, so I don't know anything about movie stars or anything. Although I have neighbors that are famous, so I don't even know them. So,
Lovely. So, guys, you can comment below in the comment section who do you think can play the role for him. And with this, we come to the last question. Who is your favorite superhero and why?
well, again, I don't watch movies, so I don't have any super. I've never seen a superhero movie, so I don't know anything about it. I'm sorry, this is boring, maybe, but that's the way
Absolutely
it
not.
is.
Absolutely not. It's a different way of seeing the life. Lovely. Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
yeah.
So, Per, thank you so much for participating in the rapid fire round. And people who are listening to this particular episode, if they want to connect with you, how can they do that?
Yeah, the best way would be simply to do a Google search for the Price Whisper, or some just Price Whisper, and I will show up. As I have a YouTube channel, and there's going to be linked to our website and all different things. I'm also actually today publishing a book. Um, the Kindle version is available today, and it's oddly enough called The Price Whisper, and the subtitle is A Holistic Approach to Pricing Power. And my publisher has a price promotion for the first week or so, maybe 2 weeks. So it's only going to be like 199 or so, and it's a 300-page book. So there's a lot of information, a lot of practical information in that. And there's also on the website, I have a masterclass in pricing. And you take that masterclass, and you know everything there is to know about pricing. It's 4.5 hours of video content, with exercises and so forth that follows. So that would be my recommendations. And then of course you will have links, I guess, on the podcast to the website and so forth.
True, true. So all the links are available below. Do check it out. And strong recommendation is to watch that masterclass too, because pricing is, I would say, the fuel for everything. But that's where the sales happen.
Yep.
So it's very crucial.
Yep.
So,
Very
Per,
much so.
before we end this particular episode, what is the one message you would like to give to our listeners?
Oh, increase your prices. Increase your prices and become more profitable.
Lovely, lovely. Great. So thank you so much once again, Per. It's an honor to have you here on the show, and for all the insights that you gave us today. Deeply, deeply honored and deep gratitude for it. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much, Miithyl, for having me, and I hope the audience would find this interesting and maybe even a bit entertaining.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you have just listened to the Digital Maddie Show with your host Mithil. Thank you so much for listening to our show and giving so much love. Don't forget to subscribe to our show on any podcast platform that you are listening. And if you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. This is Mithil signing off with Per at the moment. Until next time, meet you soon with another guest and their amazing stories. But until then, keep rocking, stay safe, and keep creating content. Ciao.